Hey folks, welcome back to KJ's channel. Today is day 3 here in Nashville. Me and the bride are up and ready. Today is the start of the actual SBC meeting. Before there's been conferences and little things, but today, President of the convention, J.D. Greer, will call us to order, seat the messengers, and we will conduct business. As far as I know, this is like the largest business meeting there is. That follows like that parliamentary. I mean, we're going to have 17,000 messengers there. And this is not your normal FFA or 4-H parliamentary procedure meeting because it's so big. So there's different rules. There's different things that we follow to get stuff done. However, when the messengers seek God's face, when they seek God's direction, when they seek to do what the Lord wants us to do, it works. If messengers don't do that, it's a mess. And over the years, the SBC has been known for the fights and things of that sort. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what makes the news, but that is not what I see as a Southern Baptist. I see people like me who pastor a tiny church in the middle of nowhere who come down here. I'm going to raise my ballot for different things. I'm going to vote in certain ways, and my vote counts just as much as everybody else's. And this is how Christians handle business in a dignified manner instead of yelling at each other on Twitter. So I'm proud to be Southern Baptist. I'm proud to be part of this convention. And we will go cast our votes today. We're going to take you along so you can kind of see how all this stuff works. I'm thinking this is like my 5th or 6th convention that I've been to. National convention. Of course, I've been to the Montana convention tons. And it's a similar thought process, but on a much smaller scale.
KJ's done a great job. He knows a lot more about Montana than I do. So he's able to talk to him about the differences in the different churches and the different areas of Montana. And somebody asked about the Milk River yesterday, and I was like, I know it's in Montana. He's like, it's up on the High Line. So I was impressed. He might not be able to talk to famous people, but he can talk about Montana.
Even though they were stuck in their apartments and they couldn't go out, that they did pray. That prayer, God is not in a quarantine. God does not get locked down. God is still at work. And as they pray, and as they rally many of you to pray, and they rally the local church to pray, we're praying right now that 200,000 people would come to Christ.
We're listening to a report right now.
That 200,000.
Hey folks, we made it back to the room. The convention was so crowded that I did not record a whole lot because we were just stuck in there side by side with people, and there was just way too much. I'm trying to plug you in. Hang on. There was just so much togetherness, I guess, that I couldn't just record. And then, of course, we're listening to reports and we're doing things. So here's a few things I showed you: the book of reports, the bulletin for today, our ballads. And so today we did vote and elect a new president. Ed Litton is the new president of the Southern Baptist Convention. We approved some resolutions and dealt with some of that stuff. Of course, there's always a little bit of contention. I used this illustration the other day. A lot of people don't like to see how the sausage is made. And when you have meetings like that, things need to be discussed back and forth. You need to hear pros and cons. You need to hear somebody who will argue with you to make you think through things. And a lot of times people see that as confrontational or mean-spirited. But today, if you watch the Southern Baptist Convention online, you saw what we really are, not the stuff that the media likes to portray. And so I think there's a sweet spirit. We've met so many brothers and sisters. We've seen people that we've done ministry with for years and years and years. And today, I'm proud to say I'm a Southern Baptist. Wednesday morning. I think Sharon and I both slept really, really well last night. Kind of tired and exhausted. It was a long, long day. We are going to cut out a little bit early today so that we can get back to STEM this afternoon, build this video, and then we got some things to do tomorrow. So we're pretty busy on this little time away from the home and the church. So busy. Today is more business. They're going to deal with the motions that were made from the floor yesterday. It's a pretty interesting system in how it works. There's a really, really good book, SBC Frequently Asked Questions, FAQs. Amy Whitfield was one of the writers, and it really explains a lot of Southern Baptist life and how the convention works. So one of the things that confuses a lot of first-time members is somebody will make a motion from the floor, it's seconded, and then it disappears. So what happens is that person puts that motion in writing, and the Committee on the Order of Business will offer advice to the chairman or the president of the convention and how to deal with those motions. Quite honestly, most of them get directed to a different entity to be handled. So yesterday a guy made a motion and the chair immediately directed that to the Credentials Committee. And so the Credentials Committee will handle that and come back and tell us how to deal with. However, there are some motions that actually will be dealt with today. And so those will come back to the floor. We'll debate and deal with some of those. And then some are called out of order. Either it's a motion that goes against the bylaws or it's the improper wording or something like that. Anyway, it's been a fun convention. I said last night I'm proud to be a Southern Baptist. That is absolutely true. Does that mean that all the votes went my way? No. But I trust the Holy Spirit to be working in the lives of my fellow brothers and sisters. And this system has worked well for us, and we've seen God do some mighty, mighty things through the work of the Southern Baptist Convention. So even though I don't always cast my vote in the winning way or don't always get my way, I'm still proud to be Southern Baptist. And I'm going to go down and take part again today.
That's not school, that Humboldt School, but it is the same architecture style as that, except it's got newer windows.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. I wonder, the corners.
Walking through downtown, over to the convention center again. We have checked out of the hotel. We'll have to walk all the way back to go get our car.
We caught up.
We're cutting out, heading back to where the car is parked. There's a Tesla. And
It's quiet.
So we're done. We did our time in the booth. We voted. We did all that good stuff. I'll share some simple thoughts later today. Get ready to post this video, probably tomorrow.
Run!
Well, hello folks. It is now Thursday morning. We made it back last night at 9:30. It really only took us about 8.5 hours to drive, but there's a time change between Nashville and here in STEM, so it was 9:30 when we got back. And I'm building this video, and I'll upload it when we get to Pop and Dee Dee's house. They have faster internet. But I just kind of wanted to close out the SBC video with a few thoughts. I guess first and foremost, a lot of people don't understand the nature and the animal that is the Southern Baptist Convention and how it works. Each church is completely autonomous, but we work together to support missions and ministry and help one another out because we are better together. In order to do that, we have to agree on some things and allow room for disagreement on others. And this convention allows us to talk through those things and make some decisions. So, you know, there's always going to be some people who like things, some people who don't like things, but generally speaking, I walked away from our convention encouraged and, as I said, proud to be a Southern Baptist. So a few of the hot topic issues and kind of where I stand on some of them. Number one, the issue of critical race theory. I think critical race theory is a bad theory. It's wrong. I'm not going to go into the details of all that. There's been plenty written on it the last 2 years, and our seminary professors spoke on it, and I think that amendment folded that into it, as well as adding the opportunity for other theories that may promote white supremacy to be called out of line and incompatible with the gospel. So I was fairly happy with that resolution. The stuff with the sex abuse, here's the thing: the media likes to make it out like everybody is for sex abuse, and nobody in the Southern Baptist Convention is for sex abuse. I use this illustration to kind of talk to Sharon, but when we're setting up policies and procedures and how to investigate those things, there's a few elements of society that we hold very dear. Number one is that victims need to be protected. They need to be given justice, and we agree with that 100%. On the same token, people are innocent until proven guilty. You can't just make a claim and expect that to be the word. And so proper channels need to be taken in order to do that. We see that all the time with the legal system, and I think in the church that's very similar. You can't just make an accusation and ruin somebody. So I'm happy with the independent investigation. I think it'll show that the executive committee handled things fine, and just that people were unhappy with some of the outcomes. The media likes to play up when we argue over words, and if specific words are in place or not in place, and yeah, words are important. They are the tools we use to express the ideas in our head. However, not everybody likes to see the sausage get made, and sometimes when you're working through processes, or when you're working through trying to find the right word and you're having a debate or discussion about that, and whether or not you should use a certain word or not use a certain word, people take that and make more out of it than they should have. So if you watch the sausage get made, which was the live stream of the Southern Baptist Convention and how people talk and argue and discuss and work things out, some people are like, oh, look at those Baptists just fighting at each other. I walked away there with a very comforting, encouraging, and spirit of unity that I think really demonstrates what Southern Baptists are truly about. And after a year that has been just complete turmoil and having to skip the meeting last year, I think we walked away remembering why we showed up in the first place. And it was not to get our way. It was not to fight and argue. It was to make sure that we maintain the mission and purpose of the Southern Baptist Convention, which is to glorify God, preach the gospel, and love your neighbor. And I think we walked away with that.